Our first performance tonight is titled The Longest Night, written by Zeranski.
I spent 5 months in the camp. I was a 14-year-old boy, and it was the longest night of my life. The words above the camp's main gate were forged in iron letters. They said, "Jedem designer, to each his own." What is code to see? It really meant everyone gets what he deserves. My mother died when I was much younger, before the war, before the camp. She's just a shadow in my memory. But my father had a photograph. He kept it in the sitting room next to the radio. At night, he would look at it and listen to Chopin. My mother was beautiful. Every child should say that. My mother was beautiful. If I had a photograph, I could show you, but it was one of many things that were lost. My father was a printer with his own shop. He was very good. His customers were always pleased with his work. Letterheads, invitations, posters, pamphlets. I remember one time when he was ill, very ill. He came by to see what was wrong, see how he was doing. Strange, my father said. I never knew I had so many friends. When the racial laws came, making business hard, it also made it harder for him to find those friends. See his face in my mind now. I can read the irony in his eyes and the sadness. I loved the shop. We lived above it, and I used to come down the stairs into the back. I could smell the scent of the paper, thick and heavy. It filled the air. I knew it like I knew my own skin, and the sound of the printer. Down below in the cellar, it was a foot-operated machine. Every stroke of the mechanism, I could feel it in my teeth. My Aunt Rosalie, my father's older sister, she lived with us. She was with me all my life since my mother's death. She looked like my father, which was not bad. My father was a handsome man. He was big and he had strong shoulders. So did my sweet Aunt Rosalie. She was dim-witted, some said. But when you're young, everyone seems to know so much more. Everyone seems to be so much more intelligent. Still, Aunt Rosie, she knew me. She knew what I liked, loved, hated. No, she was not dim-witted. She was young. A child like me. She was the mother I needed. A little sister I never had. Still, when we used to walk down the street, people would whisper about her. I saw this. Aunt Rosie did too. But she just looked straight forward, never turning around to see who spoke. But she was good. My father said she was the family secret. This made Aunt Rosie smile. She was good. So much was good then. I could play in the streets with my friends, Jules and Sammy and his sister Sarah, before the curfew forced us off the streets. But then there were books to read. And even when business became almost impossible, Aunt Rosie made me believe in magic with the aromas coming from the kitchen. When you're young, war is just a word. Something you read about in books and newspapers, hear on the radio, when we used to listen to the BBC talk about the war. A war that was going to end soon, but never did. One day, the general order came. All Jews were to be relocated. Next day, we stood in the street for hours. So much doubt, fear, even optimism, and false hope. Then the trucks came. And then there was the train, packed Men go right, women go left. Kangaroos, he looked at me. I had never seen such love before. And then I never saw her again. Four months later, I think it was, my father died in his sleep, still on the cramped bunk with me. The next day, two men in filthy gray and white prison clothes carried him away. When time grinds on, sunrise after sunset, looking the same for weeks that run on for months, a day like no other day can suddenly open like a great door. One day all the camp guards were gone. The Americans came. Through the woods, in their green fatigues, through the barbed wire fence, I saw them come. An American soldier picked me up from the ground like my father. He could use one hand, one finger. I weighed nothing. He picked me up in his arms, just like my father. Where did it all go? The shop, the printing press. Where did they all go? My friends Jules and Sammy and little Sarah and Rosie. But where is that father? Where is that son? I was in the camp for 5 months. It was the longest night of my life.
This reading, Waiting on the Platform, was written by Janet Rowe. It is a true story and describes the frightening events experienced by her former husband and his mother as they attempted to escape from Nazi Germany. In 1938, Mother Kate and her 5-year-old son Newt waited on the train platform at the German-Dutch border. The previous months had been filled with anxiety and fear due to the increasing danger and threats of arrest by the Nazis. A short time earlier, Kate's husband Ernst, stepfather to Newt, had a narrow escape from arrest. It was only because of what they believed to be a miracle. The taxi taking them to the town of Durance to be interviewed by the Nazis overturned into a ditch due to heavy rain. Ernst suffered a broken shoulder in the accident. The other miracle was that the German surgeon who treated Ernst at the hospital was not a Nazi and was well acquainted with Ernst. The doctor had contacts and discovered that the interview in Durham was a means of gathering Jewish men and transportation to a concentration camp. The surgeon called the Gestapo officer in charge and reported that Ernst Lowe was severely injured and unable to travel. This action led to Ernst's eventual successful escape to Holland. And now, Kate and little Newt were waiting on the platform in anxious anticipation to join Ernst in Holland, where he had taken shelter with his brother and family. They could not leave with Ernst due to the urgency of his escape and essential business matters that Kate needed to handle. Finally, they were allowed to board the train. Kate held her breath as the German-Dutch border guard approached them with the all-important, life-changing list of names of those allowed to enter Holland. After what seemed like an eternity as he searched for their names, he said, "Get off this train immediately. You are not on the list, and you have no permission to enter Holland." There was no alternative to follow his orders. Once again, they were standing on the platform, but instead of anxious anticipation, Kate felt hopeless desperation, not knowing what to do next. The thought of the possible fate lying ahead was too devastating to imagine. Suddenly, the same border guard came rushing toward them, shouting, "Come quickly! Get back on the train. It's leaving in 1 minute." He explained that when Ernst Lowe crossed the border, a guard had mistakenly crossed off not only his name, but Kate's names as well. Soon the family was together again. Although there would be many challenges ahead before they made their way to America, the frightening memory of those desperate moments on the platform of the train station at the German-Dutch border would never go away and remain a powerful reminder of how the actions of one person can change someone's life in one short moment. Our next performance, The Train, written by Bisignani, takes place in Poland. The rays of the late afternoon sun shimmered in the tall grasses. The boy lay gazing at the blue of the sky. A grasshopper walked up to a leaf near his face. He smiled and reached carefully for it. If he could catch it, he would bring it home to his mother. She would be proud of him. Possibly she would reward him with a sweet. He reached his hand ever so slowly for the future. His fingers opened wide, and the silence was broken by his sister's call.
"Stefan! Stefan! Where are you? Come and help me."
The boy raised his head. The grasshopper leaped out of his reach. He stood and mumbled something to his sister.
What was that? I couldn't quite hear you.
The boy spoke louder this time.
"I think we have picked up berries. I want to go home."
His sister laughed. She lifted the can she was carrying. She walked over to Stefan and said,
"Where's your can, little brother?" "Ah, here it is. And not even half full. And I can tell by the stains on your face that you've been eating the berries instead of putting them in your can."
She slapped the boy.
Ow!
Tears streamed down Stefan's eyes.
"You shouldn't hit me. I'll tell Mama. I only ate a handful of berries. I'm hungry."
The boy wiped at his eyes and silently waited for his sister to speak. He knew that his sister was right. Their mother would be disappointed with the small amount of berries that he had picked.
"Give me my bucket more berries. You'll see."
The sister handed him the bucket. She patted his head and pushed him further into the bushes.
"Come on, pick for berries over here. I think I remember the last time I went with Father."
They started to walk. In a few moments, the boy said,
"Where's Father? Why did he go away? Doesn't he love us anymore?"
The girl shook her head.
"Stefan, how many times do I have to tell you? Our father had to go fight in the army, and he'll be back when he can. Now stop, and of course he loves us. Now stop asking silly questions and help me pick some berries."
After picking more berries, they walked toward a stand of birch trees. It was silent and windless amongst the trees. Even the buzzing of insects had stopped. The boy looked up. He could see the sunlit leaves high on top of the birch trees. The floor of the forest was clear, except for the dead leaves from previous years. They walked for a while before they came to the edge of the forest.
"Wait, stop here."
She knelt down and held the small boy. Stefan looked at his sister.
"What? What is it?"
The girl pointed. On the far side of the large field of berries, there was a train. It was stopped. They could not see the engine, nor could they see the end of the train. The train whistle sounded in the distance. It came from the unseen front end of the train. The sister and brother stared at the train for several minutes. Then the girl stood and pulled at Stefan to come back with her. Stefan looked back at his sister and then again at the train. He started walking toward the before seeing such a marvel. He stopped, ignoring his sister's cries behind him.
Stefan, come back, it's dangerous.
He was within 20 meters of the train, looked back. His sister was only a short distance behind him, and she was frantically waving him back. He shook his head, looked back at the huge cars. They were a dark grayish-gray color and had a single large door fastened shut with a lock. Near the top of the car, at one end, was a small opening. Strands of wire were strung across the building. Stefan stared for a few minutes, trying to take in this image, when he realized that there was a deep sound, a sound similar to the lowing of their mouths, but he felt it was not that. It was somehow different. He began to distinguish voices, words, sobbing. He couldn't understand what was said, but he knew that it was not animal sounds that he heard. Then he looked up at the window opening. There was a face, two faces, and a hand reached out between the wires. One of the faces was that of a man, and the other was a boy's face. The boy was speaking to him.
Attendez! S'il vous plaît! Pour ma mère? Aussi que... Parlez-vous français?
The train left, moving forward. Stefan was startled. He looked back at his sister. The girl was beside him now.
Come, someone is coming.
Stefan looked up at the track and saw a train worker walking toward them. He was still a good distance away. Now the man on the train called out.
No, parlez-vous français?
The man called out again. His voice was strange and dry as he called out in a strange accent.
Wasser!
Stefan was immobilized. He didn't know what to do. His sister pulled at him and cried out for him to run.
Let's go.
The boy and the man in the car called out for him in a language he didn't understand. The train worker began to trot toward them, calling as he ran and had to get away from the car. Finally, Stefan allowed himself to be pulled toward the stand of birches. He and his sister ran as fast as they could until they reached the forest. They heard the train's whistle. They stopped and stopped. Stefan asked his sister who the people in the cars were.
Who are they?
His sister's answer was short.
Filthy Jews. Now come away.
The boy and man watched them as the train began to move forward. The train worker saw the small weapon on the ground and picked it up. He smiled at the sweetness of the berries. The juice ran from his lips. He walked back toward the train. He grabbed a handle on the caboose and swung up onto the small platform. The train picked up speed and soon disappeared into the distance. The next piece is the diary of a young girl, excerpts of the diary of Anne Frank.
October 9, 1942. Our many Jewish friends and acquaintances are being taken away in droves. The Gestapo is treating them very roughly and transporting them in cattle cars to Westerbork, the big camp in Dresden to which they're sending all the Jews. If it's that bad in Holland, what must it be like in those faraway and uncivilized places where the Germans are sending them? We assume most of them are being murdered. The English radio says they're being gassed. October 9, 1942. Have you ever heard the term hostages? That's the latest punishment for saboteurs. It's the most horrible thing you can imagine. Leading citizens, innocent people, are taken prisoner to await their execution. If the Gestapo can't find the saboteur, they can simply grab 5 hostages and line them up against the wall. You read announcements of their death in the paper where they're referred to as fatal accidents. October 9th, 1942. Fine specimens of humanity, those Germans, and to think I'm actually one of them. No, that's not true. Hitler took away our nationality long ago. Besides, there are no greater enemies on earth than the Germans and Jews. May 18, 1943. All college students are being asked to sign an official statement to the effect that they sympathize with the Germans and approve of the new order. 80% have decided to obey the dictates of their conscience, but the penalty will be severe. Any student refusing to sign will be sent to a German labor camp. February 3rd, 1944. I've reached the point where I hardly care whether I live or die. The world will keep on turning without me, and I can't do anything to change events anyway. I'll just let matters take their course and concentrate on studying and hope that everything will be alright in the end. March 29th, 1944. Mr. Bolkestein, the cabinet minister, speaking on the Dutch broadcast from London, said that after the war, a collection would be made of diaries and letters dealing with the war. Of course, everyone pounced on my diary. April 5th, 1944. When I write, I can shake off all my cares. April 5th, 1944. Evening. Today I found out my good friend Yomi Ball was killed by the Germans. I kept my composure around everyone else, but the minute I was alone, I knew I was going to cry my eyes out. I slid to the floor in my nightgown and began by saying my prayers very fervently. Then I drew my knees to my chest, lay my head on my arms, and cried, all huddled up on the bare floor. A loud sob brought me back down to earth. It's a wonder I haven't. July 15th, 1944. It's a wonder I haven't abandoned all my ideals. They seem so absurd and impractical. Yet I cling to them because I still believe, in spite of everything, that people are truly good at heart. It's utterly impossible for me to build my life on a foundation of chaos, suffering, and death. I see the world being slowly transformed into a wilderness. I hear the approaching thunder that one day will destroy us too. I feel the suffering of millions. And yet, when I look up at the sky, I somehow feel that everything will change for the better. That this cruelty too shall end. That peace and tranquility will return once more.
Was arrested in August 1944, shortly after writing this last entry. She died of typhus in the Nazi concentration camp Bergen-Belsen in March 1945. This next performance, Waiting Time, written by William Zeranski, takes place in Hungary, the summer of 1944.
Straighten your collar. Pull down under the lapels. Let's look here.
Like this?
Yes, like that. That's better.
It's only labor service.
Yes, I know it's only labor service. I know what it is.
But you're right. I should dress well for the guards.
Please, don't joke like that.
No. No jokes. I'm sorry.
Please, don't apologize. I'm don't know. How is the inseam of your jacket? Is the stitching strong?
Yes,
Does it look alright? I can sew it again.
it's fine.
If you're searched, I don't want them to find the money.
Yes, it's fine.
Look again.
Veronica, it's all right. It's time for me to go.
Oh, yes.
Oh. Here.
Go say goodbye to Isabella.
But she's asleep.
Yes, but go see her. I'll stay here. When Laszlo came back from Isabella's room, he said he didn't want to wake her, but he kissed her on her cheek. He said she never felt so safe, so warm, and she's safe because of you. I wasn't a Jew, but Catholic. That's what he meant. That's what kept Isabella safe. Although I married a Jew, I couldn't help him. Only sew money into his coat, so it might be easier in the labor camps to buy extra food while the money lasted. Oh, he said, it'll be like the other times. Just hard work. What a terrible lie. The other times were horrible too. Before Laszlo left, he pulled me into his arms. He looked at me a long time. He kissed me, and he left. Before the door closed, he called out, "I love you." He sounded so far away. There were times when something so far off can sound so close, a reminder of what's good. When I was 22 and single, I went to buy a new pocketbook, something expensive. I was treating myself. I went to Kozak and Company. My first time there, I searched through the displays, and I saw this handsome young man, green eyes and dark hair, look at me. He talked about the merits of this pocketbook over that one. I thought it was so funny that he knew so much about ladies' pocketbooks that I told him so. When he laughed at me, I knew he was the store clerk. That's how I met my Laszlo. My Laszlo. He couldn't go to the university. Quotas for Jews. What a waste! He was so driven, so intelligent. He quickly became head clerk. Mr. Kozak appreciated him very much. I appreciated him too. I appreciated him so much that we married the next year in 1937. We moved to a small apartment where life was beautiful. Each day, I stood at the window and I watched Laszlo leave for work in the morning and return each night. In the summer, he put a suit coat over his shoulder, and in the winter, with the snow falling, his breath came out of his mouth like clouds. And then the anti-Jewish law of 1938 came. In 1939, thousands and thousands of Jews lost their jobs, their identities, their livelihoods. Laszlo was incensed. He was insulted. He argued with Mr. Kozak, but nothing could be done. It wasn't Mr. Kozak's choice. It was the law. I watched Laszlo stand in front of everyone at the shop, denouncing it all. He cried out, "I am Hungarian!" And then Oscar, a junior clerk, just looked at him and said, "Well, you still look like a Jew." The days of watching Laszlo leave from work and return were gone. That year, our daughter Isabella was born. I tried to return to Northern Sugar Company as a typist, but my husband was a Jew, so there was no work for me there either. My parents tried to help us, which made Laszlo feel even less of a husband and more of a burden. But still, we were here, raising our daughter. He loved her. He played on the floor with her. He taught her talk. But he couldn't earn enough money to put food in her mouth. In his eyes, a hollow space opened up. I prepared dinner. Laszlo would stand in the doorway and watch me. Before we were married, he hardly seemed to know how to hold my hand. But there he stood in the doorway, holding me with his eyes. And then the war came. Jews couldn't be soldiers. They couldn't fight for Hungary. But they could be slaves. One day, Laszlo and thousands of other Jews were conscripted into something called the labor service. How long would he be gone? Weeks? Months? How many times would he be drafted? Just once to tear down barbed wire fences, unload boxcars, shovel coal? How long could they take him away from me? 4 months? 10 months? A lifetime? And there was no saying no. The first time Laszlo left, our daughter was just a year old. I was allowed to send a postcard. 10 lines only. When you're allowed to send a 10-line postcard, how do you say, "I love you" with every word? With Laszlo, my father said, "You should come, stay with us." But when Laszlo would return, he would come here. Here is where we would be, in these rooms. We lived our lives together. How could I leave that behind? If I could somehow hold on to what we had. I needed money, and I could sew. Some people still pay for that. When Laszlo returned, I could see the scars on his hands and the pain deeper in his eyes that hurt more than I could see the bones through his skin. Isabella still recognized him. That meant so much, especially after months of tearing down barbed wire fence in the rain, in the cold, in the mud. There was never enough time. There was hardly enough food. But there was never enough time. You could be ordered away again. And you were. With you gone, I'd sit at the table. I'd set your place safe. There. But there was an empty chair. Such a great, empty space. Isabella sat right here. So close, she might as well have been on my lap. She was part of you, here with me. Oh yes, Isabella. Father will come soon. Yes, soon. Yes, soon. Released from service, you returned home. By this time, any sane man knew the war was over. But you were taken away again. Isabella and I would walk the streets. We'd hear the trains rush by. And I wondered, which boxcar did you load with ammunition? One day, we saw that the trains now carried German soldiers who would occupy Hungary and make Hungary cooperate and deal with the Jewish problem. We stopped taking those roles, only to the street markets. But the markets grew smaller, having less and less to sell. We'd see planes high in the air. Isabella would point and ask questions. All I knew is they weren't Hungarian. They weren't German. But Allied planes bombing Hungarian cities. I thought of you in those last days. I thought of you laughing at me. I thought of you loving me. The war ended. I learned that you had marched hundreds of miles away to a boy labor camp in Yugoslavia to mine copper. So many died there. And after all that time, after all that waiting, you come home. This, I made this for you.
Our next performance is entitled Intolerance, written by Bisignani. The play is set in Austria in March 1938.
Mama! Have you seen? It's so exciting, and the soldiers are so handsome. Papa made me take over him, but I'm going back.
Anna, I don't want you going outside. Stay inside with me. Where's your father?
Papa stayed to see the parade. He made me take over him because of something he didn't want her to see. Why can't I go back?
Stay here. Who knows what could happen when there are crowds like that? I wish that your father had not gone out. He's so...
I know Papa doesn't want the Germans here in Austria, but the people want them. Listen, just listen to the radio.
The cheering is getting louder. In a moment we should see the first cars.
Oh, look! There's Frau Goldman. I think she's crying. Let us go back outside. It's so wonderful, the flags and music.
Oh, stop, you silly goose. You heard what Papa said. These Germans are to no good.
Why do you say that? Let us go back out, Mama. The people, they're waving and cheering. Everyone's so happy. Please, Mama.
Be quiet for a moment, Logan. No, we're not going back outside. Anna, why did your father say you were going to do something?
No, Mama. He was very sad. I don't understand. He said I had to go home, and I want to watch the parade. People, they're excited. Papa says all that will change. What does that mean?
Never mind, we'll explain when he gets home. In the meantime, none of you are to leave this house.
But Mama!
You heard me. No one leaves.
Oh, look! The man! He's running! And he's being chased and he's falling! He's falling down and they're beating him!
Get away from the window now.
Can you hear, people of Austria? Thousands cheering his triumphal march into Vienna. The German soldiers are so resplendent in their uniforms, the colored flags streaming under the blue sky. Children are throwing flowers into the street. I have never seen such a sight. Oh, look, there he is now. He's standing in his own car. He's saluting the crowds of worshippers. Heil Hitler! Heil Hitler! Heil Hitler!
Bitte! Bitte, where are you?
We're upstairs, Oscar. We went down.
You won't believe what I've seen. It started already, and it's worse than I thought.
What is it? What did you see?
They started beating Jews in the street. I saw an old woman carrying bags of groceries. She didn't salute as he went by. Then two of the thugs tore the bag from the ground and knocked it to the ground. I said, Hannah, and I'll go home. And then one of our Austrian Nazi party leaders stepped forward and denounced her as a Jew and an anti-German malingerer. The people nearby, they laughed, they jeered at her plight, and I didn't say anything. You think I should have said something?
No, Papa, I saw that woman. She was wrong. She should have put down her bag. She should have saluted. Our teacher said that Austria and Germany are one race. They were all pure race. But then there are people among us who would see us fail. People don't care a bit about us. They only care about money and keeping their power. He said that the Jews stabbed us in the back during the Great War.
Anna! There will be no more talk of that sort in this house.
But what about Sarah? Isn't she a Jew? I think she's not. Yes, Anna. What about Sarah and Esther and their family? Are they bad people too?
And I'm surprised to hear you say such things.
But Papa, my teacher said
The
that
teacher is wrong. I will tell him so before you go back to his classroom. Don't you understand?
she's always talking like that when we're not grown. Grove and I don't listen to her.
That's enough, Anna. Anna, you must listen to your father. We are Austrians, and although we have no argument with the Germans, we are not Germans. We do not listen to the terrible lies others tell us about our Austrian friends. The Nussbaums are our friends, and you will treat all of them with respect.
What your mother says is true, and that is how we will act and live in this house. I hope we don't have to have this conversation again. Now, go to your room.
Don't be upset, you're so young.
But this is when such things are implanted in their minds. I hope that Anna understands.
Anna will be fine. She's just parroting what her teacher has said.
Her teacher? That teacher spouts foul nonsense, and I'm supposed to call him a teacher. Well, I shall tell you so tomorrow. This hour. From this spot. Come in, come in.
May I bring my daughter, Sarah?
Of course, come in, all of you. Come in. I will give Mitchell wait for a moment. Victor, come down. She will be down in a moment.
Nussbaum, how are you? And I see you brought your daughter, Sarah and Esther. How are you? Your daughters are so lovely and what manner.
I'm sorry to trouble you, but I didn't know where else to go. My husband's been gone since morning. I don't know
Where did he go? Did he tell you where?
Your husband went to register as head of the household.
Yes.
What? Register?
Perhaps Esther and Sarah would like to go visit the girls.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, come along. Esther, Sarah, go up and visit Emma and Olga.
And Anna.
But Mama, where's Papa? Why did we come here? We should wait at home for him, shouldn't we?
Yes, Mama. You won't know where we are when he comes home. Don't be worried.
Just go upstairs now and do as you're told. Please. I need to talk to her.
Yes, Mama.
Sit down, you look tired. Let me take your coat. I'll
I see the new regulations in the paper. Your husband had to register as a Jew. When did he go to register?
This morning at 8 o'clock. You know how he's always careful to do the right thing. It should be on time, even early.
Yes, it's almost 9 o'clock. I can see why you're upset. Well, look, one couldn't imagine that it would take long, unless, of course, there are many people who have to register. When did you go? I suspect you'll be back home soon.
Here's your tea. Your daughters are so lovely and pleasant. You must be very proud of them.
Yes, I am. I have to ask you. It's such a. I must ask. It's such a terrible thing to have to ask.
Ask, my dear. We will do whatever we can to help you. Ask.
We'll do anything in our power to help. What you need to is ask.
I want you to take my daughters.
Your daughters, I don't understand.
They have no chance as Jews. I see what is happening here, what's already happened in Germany. Take them in. Say that they're cousins from a different place. Just save them, please, and help me.
But it can't be as bad as that. Surely this will pass soon. These men, what they are doing, no one will tolerate this for long. You'll see.
Allow me to speak with my wife alone. Would you please wait here a moment? We will be in the kitchen.
Hello, Renaissance.
Oh, you've been so big.
My parents there in the kitchen?
Yes.
Forgive me, but I cannot look over hearing what you asked of them. I don't think you understand what you're asking of them, of all of us. My teacher says that all Jews must register, and that those who don't are subject to imprisonment. He says that the new law makes it a crime for anyone to help Jews avoid their duty to register.
I'm aware of the law. I do understand what I'm asking. I'm
But
sorry.
you don't care? You would ask us to risk imprisonment for you? I don't think you're aware of what you're asking. I think you should take Esther and Sarah and go.
Anna, what are you saying? How could you say such a terrible thing to Frau Nussbaum? Apologize.
Papa, they'll arrest you. All of us.
Anna, where do you get such ideas? Thoughtless mom, you will forgive us. Anna, you heard your father. Tell Frau Nussbaum you did not mean what you said.
Mama, you don't leave this house. You don't know what goes on in the world. And Papa, you're too soft. There are laws. Laws you break if you help them.
I should go. I didn't mean to cause it.
No, you will stay. Anna, go to your room.
It's not fair.
Go to your room. I will deal with you later. Frau Nussbaum, please sit. We have much to talk about, please.
I guess that would do. Sarah, stay steady. Don't scroll like that. The hair should be like this. It looks like that. Straight like that. I don't see why we have to do this at all. Your father said we wanted to go to temple. I mean, church. You. We don't know what we may have to do. So it's better that you know how to act. And see, how you said temple? You can never make a mistake like that again. It's church. Can you remember that?
She made a mistake. It's not deliberate. Please don't yell at her like that. This is still only the hurt. This is still only
11? Can I talk to her?
Oh, I don't think she's home right now. No, she's probably out with my mother, so, perhaps you better just...
Oh! Well, it appears they are home after all. Can I see them? Oh, I'd love to meet them.
Oh, I didn't think they were home. Well, it's getting close to dinner time, and my parents will be home soon.
Don't be so silly. I just want to meet them. I promise I won't say anything that would confuse them. Oh, what do we have here? But there are 4 of you. Anna, you said you only had 2 sisters.
Oh, hello. Are you a friend of Anna?
Yes,
Hi, I'm Olga. What's your name?
I'm Marlena.
These are Emma and Olga. They're my sisters. This is Marlena. She's my friend from school. Marlena. That's a very pretty name.
Thank you. I was named for my mother.
And these are my cousins, Esther and Sarah. Hello. They're visiting from Linz.
Ah, they're very pretty, Anna. And you say they are cousins?
Yes, they're visiting from Linz, as I said.
Oh, from Linz. My uncle lived there, and I visited him several times. It's a beautiful city. Forgive me, what did you say your last name was again? Oh, that's right, you didn't say. Nairden. Our last name is Nairden.
Yes, Nairden. Forgive Sarah. She's very shy and a little slow.
Yes. Well, I'll be going now. See you tomorrow at school, Anna.
I hope you see how dangerous it is for my family with you here.
She made a mistake, and
It was an accident. It doesn't matter. She could have had us all arrested. She salutes the Fuhrer, and you stand there like dummies. All of you. You're stupid, stupid, stupid. If you want to stay out of prison, learn to love our Fuhrer.
Sarah, how many times do I have to tell you? Our last name is Niederman now. It's not Nussbaum anymore.
I'm sorry. She looked at me, and I thought she knew what I was. She looked right into my eyes, and I was frightened. It's all right. I think she was satisfied. Just let it go.
Can we have some cake?
I'm home. Where are my girls?
Mama, Papa's home.
How is it today? I've not been outside all day.
The same. No. Worse. The laws against hiring Jews has now been extended to banks and schools. The fascists are now painting warnings on the windows of shops owned by Jews. Don't buy here. One was a Jew. I saw another man eating today. An old man. A Jew, I suppose. The crowd gathered, but no one helped him. One man spoke up. They threatened him and he walked away. Once again, I did nothing. I was afraid. I'm a coward, Lieutenant.
You look tired. Let me get you some tea. Girls, maybe you should go to your room.
No, it's no time to hide this from them. Even the little ones need to know. They need to understand the dangers we face. Do we want them to say the wrong thing and suffer for it?
No, it's just that they're so young and innocent. Why must they be exposed to this fear and hatred? What has happened to our offspring? Who are these thugs? Where do they come from?
They have been here all along. They are opportunists taking advantage of the political climate. Before, they just whispered their perverted secrets in the darkness of beer halls, and now they shout them in the streets, and no one will stop them. I still hope that it will burn itself out. It can't continue with this madness. But that's enough serious talk. So, what did you do today, Emma? Olga, did you go to school? What did you learn?
Papa, my teacher said that we are like the Germans, that we are a pure race, and we must not let any other people mingle with us. Does that mean Sarah and Esther can't stay with us?
You didn't tell your teacher that they were here.
No, Papa. You told me never say anything to anyone. But is my teacher right?
No, Emma. Please don't repeat such nonsense in this house. Esther,
You want us to leave, Ricardo?
come here. And look to Sarah. No, I don't want you to leave. As long as I am head of this household, you are welcome. But there are outside, there are people saying bad, terrible things. There are people who hate your religion, and you need to pretend that you're not Jews until your parents come and get you. I'm sorry, but it's necessary to protect you. Do you understand?
Yes, I believe so, Ricardo. I wish we could see our mother and father.
Oh, you will soon, Sarah. And don't call me Herr Professor, call me Uncle. We'll be part of our little gang. We'll fool those nasty people, won't we?
All right, Uncle. Yes, Uncle.
That's better. Now, let's have some cake, as Mama promised.
Yay, cake.
I made your favorite.
I know you did. And where is our Anna? Is she home?
She'll be home soon.
Anna, come have some cake.
It's over! Marlene reported us!
What? What do you say?
She was here the other day. I let her in. I couldn't keep her away from those stupid girls. Her uncles would go let her to the city. He'll visit us tonight.
That's all right. You will meet them and they will be fine. They know enough to get by. I quizzed them myself these last weeks. Stop being upset, Anna, or you will be the one who gives away the game.
Me? You're so blind!
I'll go to her.
No, let her go. Let us go and have our cake. It's almost 8 o'clock. Perhaps he's not coming.
He will come. He lets us wait to feed our fear.
You think so? Perhaps you're right. Are the girls ready?
They are. They've been practicing all day. God will protect them. Us.
I hope you are right, but he seems noticeably absent as of late.
Please. None of your people to me. Please. I'm sorry.
No, you are right. May God help us now. That is him. You have tea ready.
Yes.
Franz,
Please let me in before somebody sees.
Franz, but what are you doing here at tonight of all nights?
Let her in, Oscar. Franz, Mom, come in. You look exhausted. Sit down.
I can only stay a moment. It's too dangerous after dark. It wouldn't be safe for you or the children.
That's all right. Sit. Have some tea. You would have some tea with us.
How are the girls?
They're wonderful girls. You must miss them terribly.
The tea. Franz, Mom, I don't mean to be abrupt with you, but you were expecting a visit tonight, and it would be better if you weren't here. I will allow you to see the girls for a moment. I'll have to bring them down, but then you will have to leave.
A visit? What do you mean? I'm here to take the girls with me. Their father's been arrested as an enemy of the Republic. A friend of his is taking us to the court. We have to leave soon. He's meeting us in an hour.
Arrested. Oh, dear. What will you do?
are expecting someone any moment, and I think, oh my God, from this point you have to go upstairs and remain absolutely quiet, and no matter what you hear, I will be on with the girls in a few moments. Please don't interfere. Go upstairs now. Can I help you?
I am Heinrich Gertler. I go lighter for this area. May I come in?
Of course, it is late, but it's always a pleasure to meet a new member of the life. Of course. Please come in and sit. Etta, my wife, would you get us some tea? Etta.
I don't mean to be any trouble, Herr Keitel, but a cup of tea would be very nice. You have a lovely home. Your wife is a fine-looking woman. You are a lucky man, Herr Keitel. I understand you have children as well.
Yes, we have 3 daughters. We are very fortunate, as you say.
Your oldest daughter, Anna, I believe.
Yes, Anna.
Is a friend of my niece, Marlene. They take some classes together. She visited here just the other day, I believe.
Anna has told me a very nice young girl, she says.
She mentioned that you have some cousins visiting you from Linz. A lovely city. My brother lives there. I visit him a few times a year.
Here's your tea, Herr Gertler.
I prefer go lighter, Frau Keitel. Oh, that's good. I was just telling your husband what a lucky man he is. Your home is very comfortable. And Marlene has told me of your lovely daughters. I must see them.
Well, they are preparing for bed, perhaps another time.
I must insist. Otherwise, I'll be very disappointed.
Of course. Bring them down.
I'm sure they're wonderful. I love children. They are the future. That can't be stressed enough.
Oh, I think you will find them worthy of that future. There they are now.
Oh, you did not exaggerate, Herr Keitel. And this one looks so much like the mother, don't you agree? You must be Anna. And you, what's your name?
Emma, sir. It's my grandmother's name, see.
Emma, a good Austrian name. And you, little one, we mustn't forget you. Your name?
I'm Olga. Olga Keitel.
Well, now we have the entire family. And a beautiful family it is, too. Oh, but wait. Marlene mentioned that you have some cousins staying with you. Where are they? You mustn't forget them. They will feel left out.
But I thought you would only want to see our children.
Oh, no. I love children. All children. Please, allow them to join us.
But
please, Litta, bring them down.
Of course.
More tea, go like that.
No thank you. I usually only take 1 cup. Oh, I hear them coming.
Here they are. They were just getting ready for bed. Say hello to the go-lighter girls.
Hello. Hello, it is a pleasure to meet you, sir.
What a delightful child. So mature and well-trained. What is your name, child?
My name is Esther, and this is my sister Sarah.
Esther and Sarah. Pretty names. They have a biblical ring to them. Very solemn, don't you think, Herr Keitel?
Yes, I agree.
Well, why don't we all sit down and have a nice little chat? I'd love to get to know all about your little family. Frau Keitel, you don't object to the girls staying up a bit longer, do you?
Of course not, go-lighter.
Excellent. You know, Marlene was telling me that you were visiting from Linz. I have a brother who lives there, near the cathedral. You know the one I mean, near the large bridge. I especially love the statue on that bridge.
We live far from the river. I've only heard of the bridge speak of one time, and my sister, she's never been there.
Yes, but you may remember the statue. It's very impressive. A warrior standing in his stirrups on a magnificent steed. Do you remember it?
Yes, I believe so.
If you live far from the river, then you must go to either St. Rolf's or St. Stanislaus. Which?
Of course you went to St. Stanislaus, silly.
St. Stanislaus, I'm sorry.
There's nothing to be sorry about. It's just a friendly little chat we're having. And you, Sarah, Do they teach you your prayers and catechism as they Stanislaus?
Yes.
There's nothing as precious as an innocent child reciting her prayers. Sarah, it would please me very much if you would recite your prayers for me. Would you do that? For me?
Sarah, don't be nervous. Go right ahead. Say the Hail Mary. You can do it, can't you?
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed are the fruits of thy Blessed art thou amongst women, blessed are the fruits of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
Excellent. Excellent. And you, Sarah, don't cry. You were very brave and tried very hard. You will soon know your prayers as well as your sister Esther. You know that Jesus loves all the little children, don't you? So please, don't cry. Esther, you are a clever girl, and you learn quickly. But you should have known that the statue on the bridge in Linz is a large avenging angel. There's no horse, no warrior, an angel, an avenging angel.
She's just a child. It's a simple mistake.
The biggest mistake was yours, Herr Keitel. There are laws, and there are consequences in breaking those laws. I am astonished at the number of seemingly law-abiding citizens who risk everything, their lives even, to help these birds. Well, even my niece Marlena, she saw my interest in your family, and she begged me to leave you alone. I had to promise her I would not visit here. She thinks I'm looking into a family on the Eisenstraat. Well, it can't be helped. All of you, get your coats on. You are under arrest. We are going to the offices of the prefect.
No! No! You can't! No!
Mother! Foolish woman! How dare you striking me? I should shoot you now!
No! No! No!
Don't be a fool! Give me that gun. I can put in a word for you. It wouldn't go so bad for you.
Shut up! Let me think.
She's bleeding and a deep cut, but she'll be all right, I think.
Let me up.
See? They are hard to kill, like all vermin.
So help me God if you say another word. Sit in that chair.
You are a dead man. And you're taking your family with you.
What are we going to do, Oxford? He will have us all arrested.
My headache's breaking.
Mother, let me.
Oh, Mother, you're bleeding. Why did you hurt my mommy, you bad man?
Stay away from me. Wrong title may have a back.
Of course.
Anna, is this your idea of a hero? A man who strikes a woman, a man who threatens children!
No. No, Papa, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Gaston. I'm sorry for bringing this on you.
That's all right, child. People who should be older and wiser than seduced by their lies and their promise of glory.
Here, I wetted a bit. Hold this, son. Esther, hold this. Oxford, what are we going to do?
Please shoot him, Papa. Oh, please don't shoot him, Papa. He would have shot my mother.
Enough! Esther, let her title think about weapons.
Surely you would not be serious about shooting me. I don't think you're that type of man, Herr Keitel.
I myself wonder what type of man I am. Yesterday I would think it inconceivable of shooting anyone. But tonight, you forced me to do it. Don't move. I'm under a great deal of stress. I don't want there to be an accident.
But we can't let him go, can we?
I'm afraid he will turn us all in. I'm so sorry for bringing this on you.
Yes, perhaps, but maybe this only accelerated something happening. I can't think of staying much longer under these circumstances.
But what are we going to do?
Yes, Herr Keitel. What are you going to do? They will miss me by morning.
Franus, it is insane to refer to as that. May I quote you?
Yes, of course. For better or for worse, fate has thrown us together.
That man, that friend of yours,
He's a friend of my husband. I've met him only twice. He heard that my husband had been arrested, and he came to see me this afternoon and said he would take us to the border.
You think he would take us, my family as well?
You won't get out of this city, you fool.
Are you going to force me to shoot you?
Wait, what are you doing?
I feel faint. Can I get me some more?
Yes, Mom.
Please, I won't try to stop you, but don't kill me.
Anna, there's a rope in the kitchen cabinet. Get it for me quickly.
Yes, Papa.
What are you doing? I said I won't say anything.
I'm going to tie you to that chair, and then I'm going to leave this house, leave this city, leave Austin.
Here's the rope, Father.
Ruth, would you hold this gun on him, or would you rather not?
Yes. Don't think I won't shoot. My husband's hand is with me, sir.
For God's sake, Kyle, this filthy Jew is shaking like a leaf. The gun might go off.
Well, I suggest you stop calling her nasty names, for she is under a great deal of stress too.
I'm so sorry, Margaret. Because of me, you have to leave your home, your friends, your job.
Too many of my friends have changed into things I don't understand. Men I have respected now say terrible things about their neighbors, their friends because they're Jews. Some even speak of getting rid of the weak and the sick because I brought down our society. I can't live here. I have to go where there's still some sanity.
Okay, children. Get your coats, your gloves, your scarves, and some sturdy shoes. We don't know what we'll face over the next few days.
Can I bring my dolls? Go with me, so. I want to put a blanket and my table.
Hurry then. Just bring one or two of your favorite things. That is all we have to travel like the Japanese help them. Promise, Mom. Do you have to go back to your home or anything?
No, I brought warm coats for the girls in this bag, and I keep it here. My husband's friend said that we won't have it for long. In the wood.
Not now. Tell us later. Well, they're not in front of him. Please, everyone, go quickly, quietly.
Stay in the shadows.
Never get away. You haven't a chance of getting away. They'll stop you before.
That is better.
Please hurry.
You know, I love my home. I love Austria. I never thought I would have to leave it, but now I can't wait to go and find a place where men are just men and not animals. You just stay there and be comfortable for tonight and be grateful that I am not like you, because that is why you were still alive.
Our next reading is The Summer There Was No Autumn, written by Marian Bedouin. The bridge ahead was small, an easy climb for the early morning. Not much traffic until after 8, and he wanted to avoid the crowd today. His new promotion with increased responsibility required him to be early. His mother had awakened him on this particular Monday morning with the sound of her singing. She was happy today, despite the hardships of war, the food shortages in particular. His sisters had visited over the weekend, and the two grandchildren were healthy, round-faced, and smiling at the cool water's edge. He had chased them, hugged them, and sung silly songs with them. The garden behind the tiny house had yielded plenty this warm summer, and his mother had made his favorite breakfast of layered vegetables and eggs. The The eggs she had purchased from a neighbor with the money she had made sewing, many hours a day. Her fingers were raw and stained with fabric dye, but it was necessary. Father was off diving in that faraway, dry rock place. He knew, his mother knew, and his sisters knew. Everyone knew. Father would not return. His sisters had husbands they called to fight too. He had been left home, a skilled worker, needed in the factory to build the trucks that carried the bombs that went to battle. Outwardly, he spoke of disappointment in not serving his country as so many of his friends had done. Secretly, he was glad to stay home with his mother, tend the garden with her, go to the factory, and read when he could. Besides, he hated war. He also secretly did not believe government propaganda, their daily messages of the enemy's evil intentions, heartless desires, and cruel acts. He was certain the enemy soldiers had mothers, sisters, maybe children they loved as much as he loved his own family. He did not believe they were much different from himself, except for the obvious physical differences, and he didn't believe that mattered much. But he could not speak of these things to anyone. That was dangerous. Of such mornings, his mind wandered to thoughts of what he might do after the war. Have a wife and son, maybe a daughter, buy a green farm outside the dirty factory-filled city. Images that gave him hope as he pedaled toward the bridge that overlooked the city. A slight sea breeze blew the office air, and foliage from a garden waved as he passed. He could see the bridge through the trees. On it, school children ran between several bikes, and threw shouts at those ahead. Old men and women carried empty sacks on their way to market. Mothers held hands of excited toddlers. He heard the 8 o'clock temple bell, reassuring them that he couldn't arrive at work before 8:30. His boss would know what an excellent choice he had made in promoting him. Hours had been long recently, and left little time for summer activities. Giovanni had given him 2 days away, forgetting the war under the warm July sun. There would be no time for vacation this month. The factories were running all the time now. He wondered if the enemy's factories were running all the time. If the enemy had a chance August. Our final performance is Shared Memory, written by Ben Weinrad, a Lithuanian Jew who immigrated to the U.S. as a young man and established a successful career.
As members of FPO, United Partisan Organization, an underground group in the Vilna Ghetto, we escaped on September 12, 1943. Our aim was to reach the territories in White Russia where the partisans were concentrated, to join them and to fight against the Nazi murderers. There were about 25 fighters in our group. Most of us carried arms, guns, and grenades. We knew that although we were still in danger, we were no longer afraid of death as we had been in the ghetto. At least now, we would have a chance to defend ourselves and possibly kill Nazis. After 7 nights of walking, hiding during the day in the swamps, forests, lonely farms, we reached our destination and joined the partisan groups who were operating from their bases in the territories of White Russia. A group of Russian partisans, musicians, singers, and dancers who traveled from village to village giving free patriotic and propaganda concerts to the partisans of the local population. They asked me to join them. In Vilna, I had been a member of an orchestra, which was part of the public school called Trupult. On many occasions we gave concerts, particularly on Jewish holidays like God Bon. We used to lead the children through the streets of Vilna, and take them to the nearest forest, to enjoy a day in the country. During the ghetto years, I played in the ghetto symphony orchestra, and in the partisans, we were unable to organize a regular orchestra because of the sounds of the instruments. The nearby enemy could hear, we might discover. Our group in Russia consisted of singers, dancers, and light accompaniment. I was able to get a small accordion, taught myself to play it, and became a member of the musical group. June 1944. We have been liberated now. Our lives are no longer in danger. We are realizing that very few of us survived. Most of the partisans were sent home. Everybody was happy they were going home. We Jews knew there was no place for us to go. No home, no family, no friends. What would we do? Will we remain at the graves in Vilna? Maybe somebody survived. Only time will tell. Our group was ordered to continue the propaganda concerts for the population, and also for any group of Red Army soldiers we might encounter who were headed west in order to liquidate the German Nazi criminals. I was quite pleased with my temporary occupation. Deep in my heart, I was afraid to go back to Vilna and face the horrible reality. I had learned that my mother, for whom I had prepared a hiding place in the city with Gentiles prior to my escape, was discovered by the Germans. My mother was the only person who managed to escape. She reached the Jewish camp called Hades, which still existed in Vilna. A friend of mine, a Jewish policeman named Intolerance, recognized my mother and let her in the camp, where she was killed 2 days before liberation. She was killed together with my girlfriend, Kyla Krasowski, who escaped with me to the partisans. By accident, she fell into the Germans. They sent her to the same camp where my mother was, and she died together with my mother. I remained alone with my terrible memories. In the meantime, our musical group continued to travel from town to town, from village to village. As always, I continued to look for Jewish faces. On rare occasions, I would meet a Jewish man or woman who had survived by some miracle. We always found a common language. Our tragedies brought us together immediately. We would sit for hours, pouring our hearts out to each other, remembering our families and friends who were killed. We spoke about the towns and cities before the Holocaust, our Jewish life, our youth. We spoke about how we lived, planned, dreamed, and in the end, everything was destroyed. Why? We opened unhealed wounds, still fresh in our hearts and minds, trying to understand what had happened, why it had happened. July 17, 1944. In Ibidef, a small town not far from Vilna, our group stopped here. Before the war, the majority of the townspeople were Jewish. I wandered around through the town, hoping to find Jewish faces. All in vain, I could not find a single Jew. Evening arrived. As usual, my heart was heavy. I was hoping to find another Jewish person, someone to sit down and talk to, try to listen to, and exchange our tragedies. So at least for a couple of hours, my pain would be eased temporarily. But there's no one to talk to here. I sat down on the porch of the house over the station. Across the street, several trucks stopped, and a group of Red Army soldiers got out of the trucks. They were going to clean up, eat, and rest up for the night before moving on in the next morning. As I watched them across the street, I wondered, should I approach some of the soldiers and ask if any of them were Jewish? I couldn't do it. Suddenly, an idea came to my head. I would take my accordion and play some Jewish melodies, hoping that if there were any Jewish soldiers, they would react to the music. I started to play A. was shaving himself, stopped shaving, and with a towel over his shoulders, turned in my direction, started to walk toward me, across the street, came over and sat down next to me. Without saying a single word, he sat silently as I played. Watched me, looked at me, did not interrupt my playing. Suddenly the silence ended. In a clear, Zoftic Yiddish, he said to me, "Please play a little louder. We have several Jewish soldiers in our group. I'm sure they would like to listen to Jewish melodies, which they certainly did not hear for many years." I felt the hunger we all have. Share of our heritage and tradition. We sat together for a long time. He told me his story. He was a major in the Red Army. He was born in Minsk. Before the war, Minsk was a major Jewish city with a Yiddish language. And Yiddish culture was at its prime. He had recently passed through Minsk, where he had left his wife and 2 children at the start of the war. They were killed in the Minsk ghetto. His sister and brothers went into the army to fight the Nazis, and some other relatives joined the partisans. Their fate was yet unknown. The only survivor of his large family was one cousin who located the best and gave him the news about his family. He kept on repeating that he did not understand how the horror could have happened. How did it happen? Why? I listened to him. I thought that I too could tell him my tragedy, about my mother, my friends who were killed, about my beautiful building where I grew up, my Jewish city with the Jewish intelligentsia, organizations, synagogues, theaters, orchestras, etc., etc. Hundreds of years of Jewish life, Jewish culture, of beautiful Jewish youth, all gone. From 70,000 Jews, a handful of us left as witnesses. Our punishment for surviving would be a constant reminder of what happened. Why did we survive? I told him of my life in the ghetto village, of my life in the partisans. I told him everything. He listened to me. We suddenly became very close to each other, as if we had known each other a lifetime. Our mutual tragedies brought us together. It was getting late. He had to rejoin his group. They were leaving in the morning for the front. We kissed each other goodbye, wished each other good luck, and embraced like good old friends. We both cried. Somehow we felt a little better. My friend crossed the street. It was dark. He started to disappear in the darkness of the night until I could no longer see him anymore. And I remained again alone with my thoughts, memories of the dark days of yesterday, the unknown tomorrow.
temperature. Carol Lorena, would you please come out? Right over here.